Welcome everybody here to the video. We currently have online Kalen Emsley with 10 Tree, and he's going to run through a various nice presentation for us with some video and slides. If you have any questions or anything, please enter them in the bottom chat window. I will relay information to Kalen. My name is Randy McLeod. I'm the Education Manager with the Canadian Wildlife Federation, and I'm staying a little silent behind the scenes because you want to look at a great-looking guy like Kalen instead of me. So with that in mind, Kalen would like to start with a video, which we'll play up first, and then we'll move into more of a presentation. So at this point, I'm going to play the video. I will reload in a PowerPoint, which Kalen wants to use, and then we'll be ready to roll. So here we go with our video.
We're 10 Tree Apparel, a new environmental company that plants 10 trees for every item purchased. We teamed up with the Canadian Wildlife Federation to travel North America and see what gets you outdoors. Together, we can protect the world we play in.
I feel the weight on my shoulders. Can you feel it too? Now I know that we will all stop making sense, and that is okay. Simply saying that I'm never coming down. We never touch the ground. Simply saying that I'm never coming down. We never touch the ground. 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 We never touch the ground.
All right, that was just one of the videos that Kalen. Marvelous one. Hope you enjoyed it as a. At this time, we're just going to load in a PowerPoint for Kalen, and Kalen forward with audio and capability.
Sorry, Randy, you cut out?
Oh, it's up to you now, Kalen. You're off and running.
Oh, okay. Okay, can you hear me okay? Hello?
I sure can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so everyone else can hear me okay? Says everything is echoing. Okay.
That could be my end, and I'm shutting down.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Well, it's nice to meet everyone. I'm one of the founders of Tentry, and we work a lot with the CWF. And sorry. We've worked with the CWF for a number of years now, and it's been a really great relationship where we've created stuff like that video in order to inspire people to get outdoors. And Tentry is a new company that plants 10 trees for every item that we sell. And as part of that, I'm just going to take you guys through a little bit of what we do. And being the chief marketing officer, I get to actually go to a lot of the planting sites and check out some of the different situations that deforestation and cutting down forests has caused throughout the world. And this first picture that you see here, it looks photoshopped. It looks really like super red. And we flew over it in a helicopter, and this is a place in Madagascar where you can actually see what it looks like when the trees are cut down, and it causes the soil to erode away. So if there's no trees there, then there's no roots holding the soil together, and the water literally washes all the mud, parts of the island, out into sea. So it is a pretty crazy sight to see. So you can imagine if all of our water looked like, and you can see this is what the water looks like because of all the deforestation. It's pretty crazy to see, and something that people here, or people in Canada, North America, don't really realize, but when you get extreme deforestation, this is the type of thing that you're looking at. So this is one of the reasons that we've chosen to plant in places like Madagascar and different areas of Africa. We also plant in Canada and the US as well, but you can see here what it looks like for the most part in Africa. This used to be completely forested, and one of the things that we found really interesting when we were there was that we were talking to a local villager, and they said, growing up, I used to be scared to go from village to village because when I would go, it was so dark, and I had always imagined that there was like forest creatures that would come and attack me. And now to see it, there's absolutely no forest at all. So it can give you an idea of over 30, 40 years what exactly has gone down and how much deforestation has happened. So, So one of the really cool things that we got to do was we actually flew into this remote village that has never heard of TV, computers, internet, anything. There's no power. So it's live completely off the land and really rely on the trees for food, for wood, for building their houses, for cooking. And when we flew in, the whole village came to meet us, but all the houses, and this was the hut that they had built for us, this is what all the houses there look like. And the tops are built from dried tree leaves, and the whole house itself there is built from different trees that they've taken and been able to use for housing. So most of the deforestation in the world comes from people just trying to survive, whether it's using it for cooking, heating, or building their houses, or whether they're using it for like the wood for different tools, like they actually use it for rope there. And they also have fruit trees, so they grow it for fruit, and they also use the different leaves and stuff like that for feeding their cattle. So you can see all the kids were there ready to meet us, which was really cool. And this is a village in Madagascar that has 400 people, of which we employ all of them, and all of these kids now are going to school because of the efforts that we've put in there. So it's pretty cool to see everything that's coming as a result of reforesting the area. So the seeds, like these trees start as small seeds, like this is what they look like. And it's cool because the seeds are actually used on different bracelets and necklaces there because they're so vibrant in color. I'd never seen these before, but that's how they start off. And from there, they'll put them into these little seed pods, and the reason you see 2 of everyone is because the odds of 1 seed surviving is about 60%, but when you put 2 in, it ends up being around 90. So that's why we hire people to pack these bags, then we hire them to actually put these seeds in and water the trees just to get them growing in what we call the tree nursery. So from there, you can see some of the people that we've hired. And like I said, there's 400 people we've hired, and the village, it was cool. Like, the village started off with 20 people, but because of the different job opportunities we've given them with tree planting, they've been able to grow the village, and now it's like, it's a small community, but it's really cool to see. And we got to meet some of the people on this trip, and you know, a tree to us is kind of like, it's whatever. You might get one handed out to you at a sporting event at the end, or you might get one handed out to you at school. But for these people, every tree is something that would literally take them a month's salary to earn, working full time. So when we gift them these trees, it's something that they are forever thankful for, and they treat these trees just like you would a child. They take care of them, they watch over them as they grow, and they use them. So it's really cool to see. And when you think that tree planting is, most people think of it as being pretty easy, but when we go and you saw the picture of all the water that washes the soil away, you actually have to go into that to plant. So it is like walking through deep, gross mud. And here's a picture of the crew that we went out planting with, but you can see most of them, sometimes you were walking in quicksand up to your waist, but the types of trees we plant can grow there, so it ends up working out, and those trees will bring the soil back. So here's a picture when we flew over a 1-year-old planting site. So there's thousands and thousands of trees there, and they're all spaced about 6 to 7 feet apart, but in 5 to 10 years, this is going to be a thick forest that they can reuse again for gathering food, wood for cooking, heating. And right now, they're only about 2 feet tall, but this is flying over top what it looks like. And here's what a little bit older site looks like. So you can see the red water is gone, and it's completely cleared up. So this is what reforesting the area would do. This is our oldest site, and it was a pretty cool sight to see flying over that. And so people a lot of times will ask, like, because we say that trees will bring food back into the ecosystem and bring animals back, but they'll be like, oh, how does it bring food back, especially fish? And one of the cool things is these trees, their root systems that go into the water actually provide habitat for fish to hide from predators. So a lot of fish start growing, and then people can actually fish these fish out of the water and use that for food. So they now have a supply of food coming from these trees, as well as the cleaner water supply, as well as fruit from the trees and the wood and everything that goes with it. So that was a picture we took in a while of the GoPro. Oh yeah?
We have lost your video.
We have lost your video.
Oh, okay.
We have the slideshow going. We just lost your video of you.
We just lost your video of you.
Is it back?
Yep.
Do you have
we
it
got
now?
you back again.
Yep, we got you.
Yep, we got you.
Okay, did you have my audio?
Everything was going fine. We just didn't see you.
Going fine. We just didn't see you.
Okay, sorry about that. So this is one of the, also one of the things that bringing the forest back does is it brings back different types of wildlife. And in Madagascar especially, there is the lemur population, which is on the brink of extinction actually. So one of our biggest efforts there is to help protect the wildlife and bring back habitat for the lemurs, which are some of the cutest animals. If you ever get to go there, they're definitely a lot of fun to hang out and play with. They're super friendly, and they're right now there's there's 100 species and 18 have gone extinct. So we're trying to stop that trend. And in all of Madagascar, they say that it's 90% of the forest has been cut down there, and they expect that all of it to be gone by the year 2025. So we're trying to reverse that trend, and we really want to help protect the wildlife, protect the people. So that's why this is the site that I'm focusing on for the presentation. And here's another picture that I got in one of our older sites where some of the wildlife had come back. There's also monkeys there. The monkeys aren't as nice, they throw poop at you, but the lemurs I like a lot. And you also get with the wildlife some of the bugs and everything back, and this was something that I woke up to beside my pillow. So it's definitely out in the jungle, and you get some of the gross bugs with the cute animals. But it's really inspiring to see once you get the forest back that it actually gives people access to food again. You see them out fishing, and when they're fishing, they also take the fish and sell it into the other local communities. So it starts a business, like a sort of micro business thing for these people, which is a great opportunity as well. And when you see now, when we take a swing and look at planting in Canada or the US, it looks a bit different. I mean, you go out, you tree plant with bags, carry it around, you're mostly doing reforestation, but the impact is very big, but it's different. So in Canada, you're restoring soil, and you might be restoring habitat for wildlife that could have been burnt down. For instance, like this past year, wildfires have been going rampant all across northern Canada and the northern US. So we're going to be looking to doing reforestation there and helping that come back. And oops, sorry, I hope you didn't lose me there. And so this to give you an idea of the difference of what it looks like planting in Canada. And we still do a lot of tree planting in Canada, but we focus our efforts for the most part overseas, because that's where you get the benefit of helping restore the soil, stop erosion, restoring wildlife, giving people jobs that would normally live off $2 or less a day. So we're able to provide them with a ton of value. Whereas in Canada and the US, for the most part, it's required by government that you reforest an area if you cut it down. But to show you, here's what it looks like when you're holding a baby tree. And when you put it in the ground, you have to make sure that you cover the end and make sure that the root doesn't bend. So the average person tree planting can plant 2,500 to 3,000 of these a day. So if you ever decide to end up doing tree planting for a summer, it's really tough, but it's definitely worth it. It's a lot of fun. You get to do a lot of cool stuff. And here's actually a picture where that I took when one of my friends was getting taught how to plant a tree for the first time. So it's just making sure that you cover up the end of the root system and hold it tight in your hand, put it in the ground. So just to give you an idea, this is what it looks like. So that would mean basically bending over and standing up 3,000 times in a day, and that can be tough, but it's definitely worth it, and something that we need more of is in Canada and the US and all over the world, actually. And here's just another picture so you can see. And carrying those packs around, those packs can weigh up to 40, 50 pounds. So carrying them around for a day, you definitely get a good workout in, get to spend a lot of time out in nature, and would definitely recommend it if you ever get the chance. And Randy, can I show that other video? I'm not sure if he's there. Oops. Deforestation is having a devastating impact around the globe. I'm not sure if it's showing. Every year, millions of acres of trees are cut down, but only 20 logging. The majority of deforestation is actually done in two ways. Okay. First is cooking. In Africa, 90% of the entire continent's population uses wood for cooking and heating. Second is farming. Farmers clear the land for crops or cattle grazes it down until there is nothing left. So most deforestation is done by average people trying to survive. The tragedy is, this can have a horrible impact on one's ability to survive. When the forests are gone, it triggers a devastating process. Animals and wildlife disappear, leaving farming as the only way to provide food. This would be fine except for one problem. When the rain comes, there are no trees left to absorb the water, so the heavy rainfall floods across the plains and washes away the fertile topsoil. Over time, the soil is destroyed, making farming impossible. In the end, the land becomes desert. This process is devastating countries all over the world, and some of the hardest hit nations include Ethiopia and Madagascar. Tentree is committed to reforest land in a number of countries including Madagascar, Ethiopia, Canada, and the United States. In North America, it is important to replant forests that have been hit hard by disease or unnatural causes. By planting trees across the world, we are creating jobs, giving people access to food and water, restoring ecosystems, and also creating a carbon offset benefit. Every item you purchase contributes to the planting of 10 trees and encourages others to do the same. It's a beautiful world, and we want to ensure we protect it for years to come. Together, we can all make a positive impact.
Okay, Kaylin, now it's back to
Deforestation
you.
is having a
Oops,
devastating...
that was me.
Whoops, that was me.
Okay. So that was just a video to show, sort to give you a visual idea of what the impact of planting trees is. And in growing up, my best friend and my brother and I we were very close, and it was something that we wanted to do to give back. So that's where we came up with the idea of Tentree, and I hope a lot of you guys have heard of it, but we plant 10 trees for every item we sell, and we're located based out of Regina, Saskatchewan. We came up with the idea in Hawaii on a trip when we were just hiking, biking, surfing, skydiving, everything outdoors. And one day we were hiking with a couple girls, and they kept talking about their Tom's shoes and their Lulus, and we were saying, it'd be really cool to do something like Tom's, but for the environment. And if you don't know Tom's, when you buy a pair of shoes, they give a pair of shoes to a kid in Africa. So it really worked out. It was cool. We were like, well, what if we do something like 1 ton, because one tree takes 1 ton of carbon or pollution out of the air. But we're like, no girl's gonna walk around with a shirt that says 1 ton on it. So then we thought, well, what else could we do? And thought, well, we could do 1 tree, but there's a TV show called One Tree Hill, which we thought it would have been mixed up with that. So then we thought, well, what about 10? And we knew that 10 could be planted, and you could still just make enough money to continue to grow a business. So that's when we came up with the idea, and we tried testing it out. So we made 100 tank tops, and we said we're going to sell 100, and if it sells, we'll try this out, we'll make it into a business, and if not, then we'll just sort of leave and pack it in. So my friend and I both posted about it on Facebook, and within 2 days we sold all 100 tank tops, and from there we thought, okay, maybe this could actually be a really good idea. And so it started growing so fast that I ended up quitting my job. My friend dropped out of school, and I definitely he finished school, but I definitely recommend, if you ever have a really cool idea, chase your dreams, do whatever you need. I used all my resources from school, my teachers, my friends, classmates, asked them for advice, and it definitely took off. And it's a great resource to have, so make sure that you hold on to those. And if you ever have a cool idea, don't be scared to go after it. You can also go on stuff like Dragon's Den, which we did, and I'd definitely recommend trying that out if you can. We ended up taking a deal on the show, but in real life, or after the show, we didn't end up doing a deal. So that on the show, we did a deal with Bruce and Arlene, but once we finished the show, it didn't actually go through. So that happens with about 95% of the deals that go through on the show. They don't actually close after. So that's something that most people don't know about the show, but it's just when they do the checking, the due diligence after the show, it doesn't always end up going through. So that was something that most people don't know, but it was a really cool experience to get to go on there, and definitely a lot of great exposure. So, is there any questions, Randy? Not sure if.
Well, at this point here, Caitlin, how many trees have you planted?
How many trees have you planted?
We're almost at 6.2 million.
And how many countries around the world have you planted in?
And how many countries the world have you planted in?
We're in 14 different countries, but we're focusing on 5 different locations now, just to try and make a bigger impact in less places.
So when you attempt to employ people wherever you start planting?
It depends where we go, but for the most part, we employ people to plant, or else we'll come in and gift them the trees and teach them how to create a forest garden. So basically using all the land they have and turning it into a garden where they're growing apples, oranges, mangoes, things like that. And in that case, we don't pay them to plant, but we gift them the trees and use the money to go towards giving them different tools like shovels and wheelbarrows and stuff like that.
Okay, according to River Oaks, they're wondering how long have you been doing 10 tree?
10 tree is just over 3 years old now. So we're still pretty young. I started it just out of university.
And what is the reason why you haven't done a lot more in Canada?
For the most part, it is that when there's deforestation done here, a lot of times the government will step in, or there's already help here. And in these other countries, there's really no help. And if they don't get help, there's people who are dying, people who have nothing else that is supporting them. So we find we have a big impact there. But when we work in places like Canada, we're able to hire students and everything, but the overall impact isn't as strong, but we still love doing projects here. Like we're doing one in Sudbury right now, reforesting areas that were mined and not properly put back together.
Okay, there's a bit of a three-part question here. Why did you start 10 tree? Okay, next of all, when you're in a country, when you plant trees, how long are you there? Where do you purchase your trees or get the trees supported from for 10 tree?
So we started 10 tree because we really wanted to do something to give back to the environment, because my friend and I spent a ton of time outdoors, and we just thought, this world is so beautiful. It's so amazing to be able to get outdoors and just do different activities and spend time with people, spend time with nature, and going out hiking, biking all the time. We just thought, it would be really cool to have something that could give back. And previously in high school, I had a company with my brother where we planted trees, and we thought that it would be really cool to do something that incorporated that. So I had experience planting trees, my friend had experience with sales, so it just kind of worked together. And when we go into a country to plant trees, we typically like to keep our projects at 8 years. So we're pretty far from that right now, but the idea is that after 8 years, the whole area will be reforested, and then you can move somewhere new. So that's what we're looking at. And you can get 10 tree we have over 350 stores in Canada carrying us. So, and we're also online. If you check us out, it's 10tree.com, or we also have a store locator on there. And if you haven't, check us out on Instagram. We've been really pushing that. So, and Getting Tentry up and running was, it took us, I mean, I think we're still working on that, getting everything up and going the way we want it, but to really turn it into a business, it took about a year, just because it started off just selling, and then you realize that you don't, like, you need to have proper accounting, you have to really watch how many sales and your expenses, and so we had to bring in someone that was good with numbers, and then once we had that, we had realized that we needed legal work behind us, so actually getting everything set up took us about a year. It doesn't happen really quickly, but everything moves so fast that it just blows by. And how many trees per year?
We got another one getting ready to come in.
Pardon?
Another question.
How many trees per year are we planting now? It's steadily increasing.
The next one says.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that, and it does say. Seem to need reforestation. My mistake.
My mistake.
Okay. So it's steadily increasing. Right now, we're doing about 6 million trees a year, and we're hoping that it's going to continue to increase. And as we grow into the U.S., we're going to start seeing that increase substantially. So that's something that we're really looking forward to. And which countries need reforestation the most? Madagascar would be number one for sure, just because we know that if 2025 came and all the forest was gone and the people have nothing to use for fuel, the land will be completely degraded and washed away, and they can't grow crops on it for farming, so they won't have any grass or any feed for cattle, and then that would really mean that the people there would have no way of living. So that's the place that number one needs it the most. Then looking at places like Senegal and Malawi, different areas in Africa, they need it the most. And you typically find that areas that have really bad poverty also have bad deforestation. It's linked together. And so those are the places that need it the most. And then there's lots to say that Canada and the US need it really badly too, but we're getting a lot of help, and governments here are good enough to take care of that, whereas in these countries there's no government help happening. And how many people on average does it take to do one tree plant? Well, it depends. Like in Madagascar, for instance, you can plant all year round. There's no set season, so we have all 400 people planting year round, and the average person will do 2,000 to 3,000 a day. And then in somewhere like Canada, so the average person will be 2,000 to 3,000 trees a day on average, but you won't be able to plant all year round. It's about a 4-month planting season, which is actually just ending right now. And and yes, my friend and I are the two founders of Tentry. So it's been cool to see it come from just an idea to now having a full office of people and making such a big impact around the world. And how much deforestation has happened in Canada? It's not, I mean, there's been quite a bit of deforestation, but for the most part, the biggest sort of factors of deforestation here, or quote unquote, would be like the forest fires, things like the pine beetle. So it's going in and reforesting areas like that, because any company that comes in and wants to clear-cut land for pulp or clear-cut land for paper, they typically are required by government to come in and reforest the area. So they're not allowed to just come in, cut the forest down, and then leave. Whereas in places like Africa, that's what they do. Like it's all communal owned land, so people will come in, cut the trees down, and leave. To go tree planting, it really just depends on you, your personality, your strength. I've known people that have started at 16 or 15 even, and then from there you can plant till as old as you want. And other than fires and stuff like the pine beetle, what contributes to deforestation? In Canada, a lot of it is, different commercial development, things like just when you're building out a new community. The need for lumber is also a big one, but typically that again is automatically reforested. So those are definitely the two biggest. But when it comes to places like Africa, it's for cooking, heating, and housing. Those are the three biggest contributors of deforestation. And could the school plant trees on their property? Definitely. I'm not sure what you mean, Randy, by that, as if as part of with 10 tree or just in general, or if you can clarify, that would help. And the main species of tree that we plant is, in Canada, it's a mixture of poplar, pine, and spruce. And overseas, it's typically, for the most part, stuff like mango. It's called acacia. We do a lot of apple trees, orange trees, a lot of eucalyptus. So there's a wide variety that we plant. And we could definitely do something where we send trees over if they're looking to do a plant, for sure. And most people's reaction when we plant the trees, there's really no one that gets upset with. Well, actually, we had one person call in that was really upset that we were planting trees because they have allergies. So, trees pollinate, and they were mad that we were giving people a lot of sneezing and people with bad allergies. We weren't thinking of them. So that's one bad reaction we had. The rest have all been really good. When we go into communities and places like Africa, they feel forever grateful. When we came, they treated us like we were kings and queens, and it's not something that we were expecting at all. We're just happy to help them. And for do we research native trees to plant? For the most part, we will only plant what the locals ask us for, because we figure that they know best. They know what's native to the area. They know what's required. So we'll typically leave that to them. And then if we're going to introduce anything new, where it's like some kind of fruit tree, then we'll research what's going to come in and something that's not going to be invasive to the area. And how big has 10 tree gotten? We're located out of Canada, and we have a sales team in the U.S. and Canada. So right now we sell worldwide using our website, but we're currently still a Canadian company, and we do tree planting in 14 different countries. So we operate worldwide, but our head office is here in Regina, Saskatchewan. And yes, I can definitely do that.
Well,
Well, I'd like to thank you, Caleb, for what you're doing and everything that you've given us for the information. And if people want to continue sending messages, feel free, but Caleb will be in contact. That's a guarantee.
Yep, definitely.
Hey, again,
Thanks a lot, Caleb, for your time and everything.
Oh, no problem.